My name is Alex from Retail Week.
All set.
Hello. Bit hush, thank you. We're here today to talk about omnichannel retailing. A fabulous panel here today. We've got 20 minutes on the clock, so if you guys can introduce yourselves, then we'll get into the conversation.
Hello, I am Annabelle from Made.com, commercial director there, which is about making sure that we are hitting our top line sales growth whilst also managing our bottom line.
Cool. Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm head of creative at A-Day. We are reimagining your wardrobe staples with technical fabrics. And so, yeah, very happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I work at Google, and I work with brands in the consumer electronics, grocery, and department store sectors. Maybe a few of you in the room here, and really we help brands to, on their digital transformation journeys, hopefully to make the most of Google's platforms.
I'm Justin Taylor from Cushman & Wakefield. We are a property services firm, so my perspective comes very much from the physical space on this subject.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt Kelleher. I work for Morrison's, the supermarket. So from an omnichannel point of view, we've been around for over 100 years in shops and been around for about 2.5 in online. So I'm sure we'll talk a bit about that during the session.
Perfect. Thanks for joining. Omnichannel as a term has been around for a while now. My question to you first off is it a redundant term given the fact that we're seeing a lot of businesses moving their retail operations to one that is customer focused and customer centric? So Annabelle, we'd like to start with you.
I think omnichannel is still relevant, but I think ultimately all retailers essentially are retailers, and we're all going to be working in a similar way, having an offline presence, having an e-commerce presence, and having strong mobile presence. And those three need to be glued together. So it probably will become redundant because we will all be embracing that. And Made.com has very much done that in that we are originally a pure play furniture company. So we sell, for my American friends, direct from the maker to consumer, beautiful furniture. Including mattresses, although we're not quite at Casper's level yet. The showrooming experience has become important for us. It's not integral to the shopping experience, but for those customers that do want to be able to touch and feel a product, we think it is important to have showrooms for them. So, we are focused on that as a business now.
How about you, Jeremy? What's your thoughts?
Yes, actually I checked out Google searches for omnichannel this morning, and it's still getting searched for a lot, so it's still there. Slightly less than multi-channel, actually. Multi-channel still gets more searches than omnichannel. Although in the US, I gather the term no line is gathering quite a lot of momentum, but that's not registering on our searches yet. So I think, I think from a customer perspective, clearly there's no channel. It's just I deal with a brand and I buy from a brand, and I think from the businesses that we work with, I think there's huge kind of progress to be made in terms of the lack of the siloed thinking that might have existed a few years ago. But my observation is there's a lot of kind of matching luggage. So let's make sure things look the same in different channels. And I think the next evolution that we'll see in whatever Omnichannel 2.0 gets called is around thinking about context and actually thinking about how you can make the messaging and experience different for different moments. So my simple analogy of this might be, if I'm looking for an iPhone 6S and I'm on Oxford Street and I'm looking on my phone, then you might have a different experience from a search perspective, from a web perspective, than if you're doing it at home at 9 o'clock in the evening. And at the moment, it tends to be the same experience, and I think there are lots of different kind of levers and audience clues that we can use to make it a much more customized and personalized experience. So that's what I think we'll see more of in the next.
Is that Google's next?
Well, all these things.
Next thing.
So, I think it's. I think it's not just the kind of the Google experience. I think it's the site experience. I think it's using signals of people who've visited online and go into your stores. How can you have a more personalized experience for them?
Connected environment, essentially.
Yeah.
Alexis, how about you?
Yeah, we at Made.com are an e-commerce first business, so we don't have any physical retail spaces yet, but we have discovered that pop-ups and sort of temporary physical spaces are super important to our brand and to our customers. So from that perspective, I think we'll always need both. I think the term omnichannel is perhaps a bit dated now. And when I look at the team that I'm working with, we're a really small brand. So we're a really small company. We're a startup. We're just under 1 year post-launch. But we have a brand experience team, and we don't have a department for this and a department for this. And my previous experience agency side is that sort of bigger brands and companies had sort of all these different departments that never spoke to each other. And I think the opportunity for new brands is to not kind of develop in that way, which means that you'll create a brand experience and an overall holistic experience as opposed to sort of channel-specific things.
So I was thinking about this when you asked the question, and I thought if I introduced the word omnichannel in Bradford, how well that would go down. It's obviously not the language of our customer, and we're quite a traditional retailer. I mean, I look after our internet business and our digital business, but it wouldn't mean anything to our colleagues anything as well. So we've got to find a way of really explaining that in simple terms, and that is that if you follow the customer, and whether it's around price, whether it's around range, ease of shop, service, that experience is consistent, and that shopping trip, you're improving it in a consistent way, regardless of how the customer touches your brand or your shops, or where they are shopping, you're doing the right thing. So I think as a phrase, it probably never made it with us, but as a culture of thinking about the customer first, absolutely it's right at the heart of everything we do. And I think one bit of learning we would share is that some companies choose to have multi-channel directors and all this kind of good stuff. I think what people who run channels are pretty good at. The retail director is pretty good at running 10,000 people who runs a load of shops. The e-commerce director is pretty good at converting customers. If there is a consistent voice giving a consistent view of the customer across the organization, we kind of find that puts the right consistency into the company. So that's the way we've decided to approach what omnichannel appears to be, omnishambles.
Can I ask a question back on that? Because one thing that I've seen is that you often get the behaviour that you incentivize, and actually, if you have different channels and you have everybody incentivized differently, then you tend to get the behaviour of the online versus the retail versus the telephone channel, let's say. And actually, more businesses are moving towards how can we actually incentivize people certainly at the senior level at a kind of cross-channel view.
So if in response, if your business was incentivized around group sales or around group profit or around customer service, as 3 simple measures, regardless of how that came to the company, then everybody's in it together. So yes, it is important that a retail store manager understands how much business the online business is creating in the geography that surrounds it, because effectively it's their customers. They're just choosing to shop sometimes in a different way.
And how does so I can't have you on the panel, me from retail, we can ask you about Amazon and Ocado. How is your tie up with them, and what are your kind of plans going forward with that? And
I suppose we came to the market quite late, so our partnership with Ocado has accelerated our ability to reach our customers. We work very closely with them. They're our fulfillment partner, and they do a great job. We're very happy with how that's going, and we've got great service measures and metrics as a result, and our customers love the experience they get on the doorstep, and that's really important. Where the concept of the weekly shop, though, is slightly changing. I think Mike talked about whether we'd spend $25 for a coffee and all that stuff. So Amazon Prime Now and Amazon Pantry are different or Amazon period are different ways of reaching the customer, whether it's convenience or whether it's that I'm there buying a book and I might actually fancy some nappies or a pint of milk or whatever. We feel if we're wholesaling our brands to Amazon and they're selling through those groceries, that is, if the customer wants to buy in that way, that we need to offer our product to the customer in that way. And I think Mike made a case for friend or foe. I think the customer will decide in the end of the day.
Okay. And Justin, also you're from a property background, so how do you see kind of stores fitting into the omnichannel makeup going forward?
Well, on the omnichannel word, I actually and it's not but everyone likes kind of buzz phrases. I quite like this expression, total retail. So I kind of go with that. And retail space, shopping centres, shops, as Mike mentioned earlier, if we don't get that experience part right for the customer, we will end up in the place that the US is now, with building shopping centres redundant, being demolished, being used in different ways. But I mean, as you know, the fundamentals of the purpose of a shop is changing. We've all got loads of stuff. We don't actually need to buy a lot more. So it's really about how customers engage with the brand, the experience they have, and there's a lot more to what's going in a shop than just buying things now. So it's quite complex.
Annabelle, on regards to the practicalities of shopping, what are you doing at May.com to make the shopping experience as seamless as possible for your customers?
Well, hopefully a few things online, but I think what stands us apart at the moment is within the showroom, and a little bit like what Doug was talking about at River Island, is that we have got NFC-enabled tablets. So when a customer comes into the showroom, they pick up a tablet and there's a short video reel on the tablet stand, and they can go and tap any product in the showroom, or also we have a big postcard wall, and they get more information on that product. They get similar products that go with it, other products in that collection, other products in that fabric. And so it's a completely self-serve tool for the customer, which they can go and wish list and then email themselves their wish list and their store visit, essentially, at the end of their visit. And I think that's exciting, really, from the customer point of view. I genuinely think that is a useful case for technology. And so for me, that's great also as a retailer, because we understand what products are popular in the showroom, what people are looking at, but also a little bit more about that individual customer. Are they buying for their whole home? Are they just looking for a bed in particular? So for me, I think that's one of the things we've done relatively recently that is really helping make a more seamless journey for the customer.
And this is kind of a question for the wider panel. What innovations do you see in the retail space that are bringing all those channels together, so bringing mobile, e-com, the store together? Is there anything in particular that kind of jumps out at you, anything you're excited about from a tech standpoint?
One thing that we did, which had single-handedly the biggest impact on our business last year, was a content partnership with the American online publication called PureWow. They totally have the same sort of woman as us, as their customer, as their audience. The editor-in-chief is totally our woman as well. So we shot the editor-in-chief in our clothes. They wrote a piece about us. And then instead of sort of leaving it at that and linking to our homepage, we created a custom sort of landing page for all of the people who are going to be landing there, which featured the editor-in-chief and why she chose A-Day and why A-Day fit into her life, and then chose her kind of favorite pieces. From that, we were able to track the purchases that were made via that journey, and then we collaborated on a piece of printed content, which we put in their package when they received it, 3 to 4 days later. And this was probably the most exciting time for us as a business, because we're all watching the Google Analytics, sort of watching the numbers tick up, and we had the highest amount of traffic ever. We sold through all of our leggings, which is our bestseller, and not only all of the leggings that we had at that moment at our warehouse, but all of the ones that were in the factory waiting to be flown over to our warehouse. So it was a really exciting thing to do in collaboration with a publication like that. So.
Jerry, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think it's mentioned in the last panel. I think machine learning and AI are super interesting areas, and not just the the AlphaGo stuff in terms of kind of beating humans. I mean, in our business, it's something we've been working on for a number of years, and I think where it's going to really kind of coming to the fore now, and it's actually being having real kind of use in our products, is things like we have a huge amount of content on YouTube, which is people unboxing stuff. So if anyone's not familiar with that, I'm sure you are. Consumer electronics, fashion, toys is now a huge category for unboxing, and something like 5 of our top 25 YouTube channels are people just unboxing stuff. If you haven't checked it out, do go and have a look at particularly the toy stuff. It's pretty enlightening seeing the Frozen kind of unboxing going on and the millions of views. But what we're starting to do now is actually machines can detect what the product is in a video, and we can then actually match that to retailers who are offering those products to sell, and actually put those in as an option for a customer to buy. So I think that's kind of interesting how machine learning is enabling that process. And I heard of a great example just this week about a retailer who is using machine learning for a personal assistant in the fashion space. We're starting to think about actually, I know, who you are, I know who you look like, I know the kind of things that you're going to like to buy, and actually I can pretend to be a personal assistant, although I'm not, through using machine learning. So I think we'll see much more in that space.
Matt and Justin, what do you?
Well, Alex, one point I just made on this multi-channel piece is, which I think is really interesting, again, slightly from a property point of view, but from a cost to customer and retailer, is around fulfillment and the logistics piece. And I see, there's a cost there, and it's either a hidden cost to the customer or a cost to the retailer. And I think, I think the market again has, and retailers and owners of property have got to still get their heads around that piece and what that actual cost is.
Yeah.
So on technology, and how it's changing, I think that it's got to solve a problem. And I think the three problems in our business are, whether we whisper it quietly in here, but it's got to make money. And it's pretty marginal business, particularly when you take retail and then you take e-commerce and you put the two together. So technology to solve that problem is important. The customer's got to get what they want. So fulfillment technology around picking is really important. So you're getting the right product. You don't get a chicken pie when you ordered, kind of a lasagna. And thirdly, I think technology that is just makes the service that much easier as well. Mike talked earlier about retention, and customers need to stay with you, and you need to make it easy for them to come to you too. So we've put, with Ocado, we use import your favorites, which is, it's like technology that helps you switch energy providers. But really, if you've got Facebook with a shopping list on it, or you've got a Sainsbury's with a shopping list on it, you can import that shopping list and get going. So removing those barriers to entry are really important. So technologies that excite me around like the robotic technology to make pick rates quicker is really exciting. It's dull, but it's really exciting because it helps us make money and it helps customers get what they want. And also things that remove barriers like switching and import your favorites is really important to get customers acquired.
Okay. There was on the Omnichannel question, there was an OC&C report, which some of you may have seen last year, which said, by market in Europe, which is the thing that people value most in Omnichannel. In the UK, it was quick and easy. And I think a lot of the conversation there comes to, speed, reducing friction, and actually that being something which actually, sounds boring, but actually super, super important.
On that note, Annabelle, from your business, what do you see customers demand the most? Is it quick and easy delivery? Is it wide variety of products? What are the kind of key drivers?
Well, I think in furniture, it is a emotive purchase, and it is a considered purchase. So we're not in fashion, which is a lot more impulse. So I think actually it's about great product. I think that is our business. But obviously, you're also competing against other companies that have great product, like obviously John Lewis was here earlier. They have great product, and they're very good at also doing it in a quick and easy way. So they're all essential, but I think ultimately the business is about having a really beautiful, original product.
Okay. I've got 1 minute left to sum things up. On a kind of general level, what excites you about working in retail? But beyond tech, why do you like your jobs in the sector? Go on.
Well, I love mine because I can relate to it as a customer of Made, and I think we're doing something really exciting in quite a traditional sector, and I think we were a challenger brand for a while, but it's become increasingly more competitive. So we've got some great new entrants into the space, which I think is challenging us, John Lewis. And we've got some bold retailers out there like IKEA who already do a fantastic job. So I think it's the really competitive environment. But from a tech side, I think it's an exciting place to be because there are so many new developments that are really empowering the customer, and they are the ones in control. So I think that is exciting.
Yeah, I think from a creative perspective, I know that people are saying kind of bricks and mortar is changing, but the opportunity to create brand experiences in a physical space is really exciting, even though we're an e-commerce business. I think the brief is super open for that right now, and whether it's sort of tech or kind of other means to make that fun, it's a really exciting space for me.
Yeah, I think I think you mentioned the new players coming to market. I think everybody has different value propositions, and actually understanding how everybody gets across their value proposition differently. And I think leveraging mobile. We haven't talked about mobile that much, but that is the key. That is obviously the key game changer. And actually working with businesses and actually helping them on their mobile journey, both pre, during, and after purchase, I think is really exciting.
I think for me, it's working with very innovative companies, like on the occupier side, Apple and John Lewis, for example. On the owner's side, companies like Land Securities, who are a partner and sponsor today in new buildings, and then some of the projects like things that are going on in London Battersea Power Station. That sort of regeneration is what really kind of keeps you going.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we've got. We love our jobs up at our place because we've got 11 million customers. People spend an awful lot of time eating, whether they like it or not, and we've got an obligation to improve the shopping trip because eating is an inconvenience that we've got to serve by shopping. We spend an awful lot of time in supermarkets. We spend an awful lot of time shopping online. So we've got a real duty to make that shopping trip better. And I think it's a real challenge because it's so competitive because quite a few other people are trying to do that too. So that's why it's fun, and I think working with great partners and tough competitors makes it a little bit more fun as well.
Thank you very much, guys. There's now a 10-minute break. Big round of applause for my panel. Thank you.